Welcome to the MSDW podcast. I'm Jason Gumpert from MS Dynamics World. On this episode, we are talking financial reporting needs in the Microsoft ecosystem with Jeremy Schaab, VP of Software Development at FYIsoft. FYIsoft is the sponsor of this episode, and we start this conversation laying out the spectrum of financial reporting needs that Jeremy's team is hearing about from customers today. As a software publisher building on Microsoft's technology, FYIsoft's own roadmap has some important details that align with Dynamics 365, both functionally and technically, that Jeremy explains. He also tells us about some of the most common requirements from Microsoft users today and what the Microsoft roadmap means for both customers and for close software partners like FYIsoft. Jeremy also talks about how his team has solved some of the really complex technology challenges that allow them to offer elegant solutions for customers of different sizes and with different levels of complexity. All right. Well, Jeremy Schaab, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks, Jason. It's nice to be here.
Great. Maybe we could just start by having you give a bit of an introduction for our listeners.
Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is Jeremy Schaab. I'm the Vice President of Software Development at FYIsoft. I've been doing this job for about 3 years and been in the software industry for over 25 years. But a heavy focus on things like integration, which is one of the key aspects to our product as well. So we'll kind of get into that in a little bit.
All right, great. Yeah, and I wanted to sort of set the stage here in the realm of sort of ISV solutions for Microsoft products. Financial reporting is obviously a big one, especially when you're talking to a Dynamics ERP audience. And that's FYIsoft's focus, right? Financial reporting. How do you describe it? How do you help people you're talking to understand your offering?
So I think, one of the things that, since Dynamics is such a huge user base, one of the things that we really focus on as our sweet spot are companies that typically have multiple entities. So one or multiple locations, one or multiple sets of books that need to be reported. Those are really the kind of the sweet spots for us. Anyone that needs to really consolidate reports across different companies. We do also handle different ledger systems. So sometimes we have customers that may have Dynamics, but maybe they have purchased another organization that doesn't have Dynamics. So we also work in this concept of multiple ledgers and being able to consolidate that into a single system. And then we also do handle things like multi-currency, which are also features available to our customers within Dynamics. So for us, one of the things that we try to, by focusing on all these different multi-entity structures, it really allows our customers to cut their reporting time a lot, sometimes 50%. We'll kind of talk about that later, but it really does. It gives the finance team the ability to really work independently without having to have, IT involved to go to connect all the different instances of Dynamics that are companies that someone may have. That's kind of one of those things that really helps us provide benefits to our customers.
Yeah, I mean, one of the themes I think I picked up on just in what you were saying and what else I know about FYIsoft is it's a world of complexity, especially in many ERP scenarios, right? And the challenges that these finance teams are dealing with. And that makes ease of use of a really high value. Can you talk more about how you see those two sort of competing challenges?
That's a good point. Ease of use, and that can really be expressed in a lot of different ways, right? There's the ease of use, so the setup and understanding how to set something up, and then there's the ongoing usage of it and how difficult is it to get reports, view those reports, and interact with the data, right? So one of the things that we do pride ourselves on is our ease of use, and that's something that I think our customers will also back us up on from a feature perspective. And we started this by being heavily designed by finance professionals. So most of this product really was born out of existing reporting solutions, as well as driven by the needs of finance teams in these complex scenarios where it's time to close the books, and it takes maybe 2 or 3 days to take all these Excel reports from different ERPs or different instances of different databases or different instances of even within Dynamics, right? And put these things all together. And then you get into this business of not doing what you do as a finance professional, right? Now you're worrying about data integrity and getting all these things together. So the ease of use from just, being able to set up the reports is we mask full of that complexity just, with the report definitions. Then we also, as an ongoing usage of these reports, allowing advanced drill down and drilling down into transaction level detail, making these features transparent to the user. They're just kind of there, but there's a lot of underlying technology and design that had gone into that to make that ease of use happen.
That point about the influence of a team with experience in actual finance roles is really interesting. Is there anything else you would add on that point? Anything maybe that in particular that has brought to your team?
So I think, this concept that we have with this organization tree is a really good example of it, where, yes, I do want to know my numbers at this particular entity level, but I want certain pieces of information to roll up. And maybe I want to have different roll ups at different parts of my, across my entire organization, right? That kind of requirement, right? So the ability to do that or the need to do that was really one of those examples of something that's driven through finance. If you gave a developer something to do, they're going to say, here's your report, right? This is your report. They may not know the implications of the importance of being able to have these other features. And we even have things on there like notes on financial statements, which allow, the collaboration to go on between the different parts of the management team, different, higher ups or parallel parts of the management team where they can communicate about reports before they maybe release them to the auditors or whatever it's going to be. But those are the types of features that really were driven by the accounting professionals that we had inside, as well as that we've come across from our customer perspective.
All right, great. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Microsoft technology that FYIsoft builds its solutions on. Can you talk about some of the established or emerging capabilities that you've been able to take advantage of?
Like we say, we're all in on Microsoft, and our core belief is that we are going to invest our money into solutions that are going to be well funded and around in the future, right? So obviously we know Microsoft's not going anywhere. It's been quite some time since they began, and they're continuing to grow, and they're offering all of these great services. There's the Azure platform services, set of services that we use. There's also the development tools, down to Visual Studios and its programming languages. We're using all of their aspects across the board. And then even working into the emerging stuff like AI, we'll kind of cover some more of that detail as well. But by leveraging their investment, right, in their technology, we really are able to provide solutions to our customers that adhere to, higher security standards, faster development times, and also maximizing the investments. Most of our customers are also invested in Microsoft, whether it's through, databases or operating systems or even Azure at this point in time, Office 365. So we're, Dynamics, obviously. So we're taking this approach of being an extension of what our customers can get out of their Microsoft environment. And we use that internally also to help us drive our success and to, reduce our development time and make things more supportable in the future. So we look at it as a symbiotic type of relationship, but it's a really a core focus of our organizations is to continue to move into more and more usages of these tools that Microsoft has provided.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that also helps with, alignment with the Dynamics products in particular, because, when you see an update to Dynamics 365 Business Central, for example, you really get a sense, or really any of the other modern supported products, you really hear from Microsoft's own product team what they're doing to align the Dynamics product with sort of the underlying technology. And so I assume there has to be some good feelings of alignment between yourselves, the partners you work with, the customers who are trying to understand what it is that you're offering them.
And that's what like I was talking about this, mentioned our integration, right? So we do integrate with a lot of other systems, but the importance of integration is gives the flexibility to our customers if they ever have to move from platform to platform, or like I said, if they buy another company. But, that's also that integration is based on published APIs. So just as an example with 365, they have a great set of published APIs because Microsoft has been a leader in standardizing REST interfaces. So, you can easily find multiple languages that's in SDK formats to talk to Dynamics. And that's just an example of how, one piece of the business really helps push them into a successful other part of their business. Things like authentication obviously is there, single sign-on is there because of it being inside of this Microsoft world. And then there's even the ability to use, for our customers, we don't necessarily use all these things, but like the Power Apps and other pieces in the Office 365 framework that, make it easier for our customers to stay on this, but it also, by being such a standard-based company that they really shifted to probably about 2012, they're continuing to support this Dynamics product in a way that is making it easier for us to do it as well as our customers. It's a nice, refreshing type of feeling because sometimes ERP vendors don't want you to talk to them, or they make it very difficult. And we definitely don't feel that way about Dynamics.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I imagine there is a range of different attitudes and approaches that you see in different vendors out there in how they're looking to, well, I guess interact with yourselves as a software publisher, but then also with their clients, right, and their end customers and your shared end customers.
Right. There's entire sets of businesses built around integrating or having implementations, right, of these ERPs. And
Sure. And that was maybe kind of the next question I wanted to, well, I guess expand on that last one, which was what other priorities are you hearing from end customers? What else matters to them right now?
so, one of the biggest things it matters, they don't often ask about it as a higher priority, but is security and data security as well, right? So not only, making sure that we know if there's no password cracking going on, and we're not having people hack into the system, if you would, or there's no data breaches, right? So data breaches and security is just a huge issue for all of our customers. It's always kind of at the forefront. It's never usually the leading part of the conversations, but it's really very important for them. So, securing their financial data, securing the access to the information that they're giving us to publish reports on is a very important piece of their, what keeps them up at night in our experiences, especially at that CFO level. And then in addition to that is really what can we start doing as FYIsoft to help our customers interact with their data more and get more information out of their data. So that's the second part of this. It's kind of like analytics, because I know analytics has been around a long time, but really looking more towards the interaction with AI and data and how we can start providing our customers a different way to think about communicating with their information. So, the ability to do reports and do budgeting and do those things are the checkbox items, right? So, there's not a lot of changes going on. That's not driving a lot of our customer conversations. It's really, what is my investment in my reporting solution going to look like today? Is it going to be around tomorrow? Is it secured? Is my data, do I have to be worried about data breaches? And, how can I start using this massive amount of information that that's sitting in my ERP system to make better decisions on our business? So those are I think that's the more leading part of this, which I know is a common conversation these days, but, looking into the AI aspect of this is really the next level that we see.
Yeah, I have to imagine those conversations or that topic comes up in a lot of conversations. And that's kind of what I wanted to get into next, really, was looking down Microsoft's roadmap. Firms like yours are doing it. Obviously, Microsoft's customers or prospective customers are also doing that. They want to know where the investments are coming next. You mentioned AI. What do you see in the future of Microsoft's sort of ecosystem technology roadmap that will impact your products?
So definitely their investment in AI. So, we're using Azure AI, Azure AI Studio, all of these different pieces to it. But, when I look at their roadmap of products that are coming out and what they're investing in, there's a lot of tools that they have created to make our life easier, but also tools that will help make our customers' lives easier. When I look at things like, we're using AI internally, right, to help us with efficiencies, but we are also trying to provide those efficiencies through a productized manner into our customer base. And we use things like Microsoft Semantic Kernel. So these are all these technologies that they've created that really just blow the doors off of the ability to just do a simple, question and ask like most people are using for ChatGPT, right? So I really think by looking at their investment in AI and the different platforms, the entire this ecosystem of AI resources that they've created between the programming layer, machine learning layer, the model layer, and then the security layer around all of that. So if we have AI for letting our customers interact with their data, we have to make sure that the questions and answers they get has nothing to do with the data that we have for this other customer, right? So we have to make sure that there's data integrity and data separation, and this investment that they have made in AI in general, plus the Azure aspect of it, is really something that is going to be driving what we do a lot, and I think also something that's driving what our customers.
Yeah, I mean, I would just add a comment there based on what I've seen from sort of the end product perspective from Microsoft. When I think about how Business Central seems to be approaching, Copilot customizations within that application, or when I think about Copilot Studio, which is sort of more, a building sort of platform for different AI scenarios. Microsoft seems to be wanting customers to have the option of a very sort of SaaSified type of access to some of this technology. So they're not having to sort of access and provision some of those underlying services you mentioned, that they can get access to them in a trusted way. It sounds like maybe that's how you're thinking about the end customer experience too.
We have conversations with Microsoft every other week, basically, with our teams talking about, various things, but with this topic being one of those conversations. And what's interesting is that, the Copilot studios, those are really meant for, like you said, they're meant for, I'm company A and I'm going to augment some of my information with a Copilot. So I can just maybe gain some efficiencies. And that's great that they're focusing on that. And so naturally, we're not going to focus on that part of it. I'm not going to try to do something that they're doing. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It gives our customers that insight into, hey, I need to start doing something with AI. But, the larger platform that they have created is really what will enable us to offer stuff that, the customer just wouldn't be able to create with even a Copilot studio. It's kind of a great marriage between getting your feet wet with or even just showing that the capabilities that are in the Copilot and the Copilot studios that they've created. But my experience also has been you've reached the limit of it. If you've used any of their Copilots so far, they kind of reach a limit at some point, and then to get to that next level is really where we want to be stepping in and taking over and giving them those options.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense. Great. Really interesting stuff here. Anything else you wanted to call out about what you have planned with the product roadmap or your outlook on deployments going forward?
Yeah, I think just in general, we have our overview of, I'd like to say that being able to integrate, to these multiple systems is kind of a paramount and design decision that we had made a long time ago. So, we decided not to build our stuff on one platform. We essentially, like I said, took all the accounting knowledge, made our own mini centralized platform of financial information. And then that's where we kind of consume that information from, whether it's Dynamics or NetSuite or whatever it's going to be, right? So these are the different ones. We modeled our entire architecture around that. And I think it's important, when I want to talk about the importance of our architecture to our customers, it's important that any solution that they're looking for has been designed like that. Because it's one of those things you can't introduce the complexity once the design is kind of completed. So taking the path of taking the most complex path of problems that we want to solve, it makes it a lot easier for us to start solving simpler problems for our customers. So, yes, we could solve a problem where our customer has 3 different ERPs, but, when we have one ERP and just multiple entities, it's very, very easy for us to start solving these problems. And I think that's just an important part of an architecture. Again, I'm the VP of technology, so a lot of this is going to come from that point of view, right? But, the architecture becomes the driver of what you can start offering your customers, and us aligning ourselves with Microsoft, who has arguably the best architecture in the software world, I think is just an important note I wanted to kind of harp on again. And I think that's going to be a key for us to provide better solutions for our customers, and a key for us to provide not only better solutions, but ones that they can afford, and ones they don't have to be a certain size business for us to work for their product. We really want to be something that we can connect with customers on all different levels. And the only way for us to do that is for us to be efficient. And that all starts with architecture and aligning ourselves with the right technology. And like we've been kind of talking today, Microsoft being key to that component.
All right. Well, it's been great getting a chance to learn more about FYIsoft and how you're approaching things and your outlook. Jeremy, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Thanks, Jason. It's been a pleasure.
This has been another episode of the MSCW podcast. My thanks once again to Jeremy for joining me today. In this message from FYIsoft, download their white paper to learn more about the technology behind FYIsoft solutions and how your company benefits. We have a link in the show notes. And to request a demo of FYIsoft's reporting software for Microsoft customers, visit the company's website at FYIsoft.com. And that's it for this episode. If you want to get in touch, send me an email, jason@msdynamicsworld.com. Until next time, this is MS Dynamics World, signing off.